A battle of nationally ranked teams in both men's and women's basketball? Oh yeah, and the men's soccer team bringing home the hardware. National champions coming your way on this edition of the NKU Sports Show. Welcome to the NKU Sports Show, an all-student production by the Electronic Media and Broadcasting Department at Northern Kentucky University. I'm your host, Abby Azmena. The NKU men's soccer team traveled to Bellarmine University in the hopes of bringing back a national championship. The semifinals opponents were the Golden Lions from Dowling College. As the NKU men's soccer team and fans traveled south to Owsley B. Frazier Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky for the NCAA Division II National Festival, more than the chance to advance to the championship game was riding on the line. Most of the fans and all of the players remember the last time NKU faced Dowling College, 2 years ago in the same semifinal game, with Dowling serving up a heartbreaking loss and a 2-1 win during overtime. This semifinal game was the long-awaited rematch NKU had hoped for, and they wouldn't let history repeat itself. Anthony Meyer takes a throw-in, placing it right inside the box where Paul Andrews heads it in past Dowling's goalkeeper Chris Cusera just 75 seconds into the game. The goal was the third this season for defender Andrews. Shortly after, senior Stephen Beatty battles past the Dowling defender to go one-on-one with goalie Cusera, sliding the ball straight into the left post as the Norse go up 2-0 in the first 10 minutes. Beatty and the Norse weren't ready to stop there as Beatty takes a free kick from right outside the box, barely passing through Cusera's hands as it falls back into the net. Beatty then headed straight to the fans as they ignited over the 3-0 lead over a team that cut off the Norse's climb to the top just 2 years prior. At the 39th minute of play, NKU loosens their grip on the field, allowing Dowling to take full advantage as they scrape one by Laverick. Coach Basiliga looks on, dissatisfied with giving up a goal so late in the half. And after 45 minutes, NKU remained in the lead with a score of 3-1. Fans definitely got into the holiday spirit as the snow began to fall, hoping for an early Christmas present for this NKU soccer team. The NKU men buckled down and got ready to grind out the final 45 minutes of play, refusing to allow Dowling another chance to score. They started the second half off strong. Laverick and the Norse defense were truly impenetrable during the second half. And as the clock wound down, freshman Michael Holder clinched the victory with a final goal as NKU goes on to defeat Dowling 4-1. The team celebrates excitedly as they realize they've just knocked off an old foe in this semifinal game. The team raced to the fans at the conclusion of the game as this deja vu situation became a glorious moment of fulfillment, with NKU making amends for the past. In the press conference following the win, head coach John Basiliga talked to media personnel about the rematch.
What do you say when you put a lot of time and effort for the past 8 years to get to this game? 2 years ago we were here and we were beaten by a very good team, and we've been known to give up 2-goal leads a lot during the course of the season, and to come out and play the way we did the second half was a tribute to the kids in the program, the way they play and the way they fight.
They say victory is sweet, but revenge is much sweeter. In the other semifinal game, Rollins College defeated Midwestern State out of Texas by a score of 2-1 to set up the championship game matchup. Despite the driving snow and freezing cold weather, which accounted for an hour delay in Saturday's game, hundreds of faithful fans and onlookers crowded the stands of Owsley B. Frazier Stadium to root on the Norse in their first ever NCAA championship game appearance, facing off against Rollins College. Both teams made school history by advancing to this championship match on Saturday. A truly amazing accomplishment by both teams. The Tars would get the kickoff, but it's the Norse that got the upper hand as freshman Jack Little flicks a free kick from Paul Andrews past Rollins' goalkeeper within the first 10 minutes of play, putting NKU up 1-0. It was an amazing way to start the game, got the guys' spirits high, morale was high as they continued to play hard. As the snow continued to fall, Rollins College, traveling from the much warmer weather of the Sunshine State, struggled to adjust, giving sophomore Jordan Grant the opportunity to extend the Norse lead 2-0 over the Tars in the 33rd minute. This championship match couldn't have started any better. With a 2-0 lead in the first half, NKU looking phenomenal on the field, a victory was surely in sight. And the fans were more than excited for the team's 2-0 lead. NKU goalie Michael Laverick makes one of his 9 saves just before the half to keep the Tars scoreless. With the temperature still dropping, Norse Force fans stayed fired up despite the freezing weather, showing their full support for this NKU men's soccer team. The teams make their way back onto the field, having only 45 minutes left to claim the national title. Emotions were high as the Norsemen took the field with the hopes of becoming the new national champions. But Rollins didn't make it to this championship game off of luck, as they showcased their talent, coming out and scoring a quick goal on Laverick, cutting the lead to 1. And just minutes later, the Tars penetrate the Norse wall defense once again, tying the score at 2-2 with 38 minutes left to play. That's more than enough time for the game to go either way, and it would truly be a match of who wanted it more. But true champions prove themselves during times of difficulty, and that is exactly what NKU did, as the team held off the Rollins offense and managed to set Michael Holder up to score the winning goal, putting NKU on top once again, 3-2 over Rollins. The fans made their presence known by cheering loud and proud in the stands, letting the team know that they were there for them through thick and thin, bearing the weather conditions, fighting with them from the stands, giving them the support and that extra push that the team needed to get them through this 90 minutes of play. All-American defensive player Paul Andrews helped stop the Tars from making a comeback, with senior captain and All-American Player of the Year Stephen Beatty assisting with the defense. And after 90 minutes of the harshest weather conditions, the NKU men's soccer team makes history, claiming the NCAA Division II men's soccer national title, as they become the first men's athletic team in school history to do so. The team swarmed their 12th man, the amazing die-hard fans that traveled in buses and carloads to witness this history being made. Beatty credited the fans for lifting the defense in the last 15 minutes to help the Norse keep the lead during his press conference after the game. After an amazing season, the NKU Norsemen couldn't have ended this any better than by claiming the national title for Division II. We congratulate the men on their outstanding performance and an amazing job well done. The NKU Norse men's soccer team, your NCAA Division II national champions.
The day before the Final Four kicked off, the Division II All-American teams were announced for men's and women's soccer. Rachel Manning is at the NKU Soccer Stadium with the announcement.
As the NKU men's soccer team prepares itself for a run at the national championship, a pair of players received individual honors, with Stephen Beatty earning the highest praise possible. For the second time in his career, Beatty won the Ron Lenz National Player of the Year Award for men's soccer. The selection headlines the Daktronics NCAA Division II All-American team, which includes Beatty as a first selection for the 3rd consecutive year. The senior from Ireland has rewritten the NKU record book this season by setting new single-season marks in goals, assists, points, and shots. With this honor, Beatty has earned the triple crown of individual excellence by taking home conference, region, and national Player of the Year trophies. Also earning All-American honors for the Norse was Paul Andrews. The sophomore defender was named a second-team All-American by leading the Norse defensive unit to just 22 goals allowed over 23 games, including 7 shutouts, going into the Final Four. Andrews also earned first-team All-Conference and All-Region status. The women's soccer team was also included in the All-American accolades. Amanda Mason took home second-team honors, while goalkeeper Rachel Wood was named to the third team. Mason was the catalyst of the offense by leading both the team and the conference in goals and points. The junior from Cincinnati also earned first-team All-GLVC and All-Midwest region honors. Wood, a sophomore from Cleves, Ohio, allowed just 7 goals all season long, on her way to being named to third-team All-America honors. Her .36 goals against average was 4th best in the entire country. This marked the first time NKU had 2 women's soccer players named All-Americans, since Betsy Moore and Trisha Ruark accomplished the feat in both 2000 and 2001. For the NKU Sports Show, I'm Rachel Manning.
Thanks, Rachel. Both men's and women's basketball took the floor, and we have the highlights coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
I love learning.
I believe in service. I am full of passion.
I embody sportsmanship.
I trust in my resourcefulness.
I like balance.
That's why I chose.
I chose Division II.
This week's Scholar Athlete is senior softball player Stephanie West. West, a speedy leadoff hitter, led the Norse last season in sacrifices and stole 19 out of 21 bases. The all-academic GLVC conference outfielder has a perfect 4.0 grade point average. She is a marketing major, concentrating in sports business, and will minor in business administration. Stephanie West, this week's featured Scholar Athlete.
Welcome back to the all-student produced NKU Sports Show. Speaking of produced, now we send it to this week's producer, Ray Kallmeyer, for a look at Thursday's basketball action.
We're here at the Bank of Kentucky Center for a doubleheader of NKU basketball. The Norse look to open up GLVC play against Southern Indiana.
Of course, NKU looking to get revenge after a heartbreaking double overtime loss to the Screaming Eagles on this floor 1 year ago. Let's start things off with the first 2 points of the game by Sadie Bowling. This was just 2 of her 12 on the night. But of course, coaches love players who do the little things, and while Kendra Codwell did the little things in a big way tonight, and here she is saying no way with this block. She had 3 steals and 12 rebounds to add with that monster rejection. USI would get some offense out of Amy Newart with a nice fake, a jumper, and here's 2 of her 10. But it was still NKU showing their true colors. Game's leading scorer is none other than Mighty Mo Cassie Mogan. She'd finish with 21 points and 8 boards. And the Norse are all smiles as they go on to win big by the score of 71-38. Southern Indiana shot just 14 of 55 from the field and just 1 of 15 from behind the arc. After the game, we talked to Cassie Mogan about getting revenge from last year's heartbreaker.
We kind of pounded it into the new people that this was a really big game and that we definitely owed them from last season. They killed us up at their place and they beat us on our own court, and we don't really like that. So we definitely made sure that everybody was ready for the game. So.
Next up was the men's team for a battle of nationally ranked teams.
NKU comes in ranked 20th with USI at 22nd in the country. Let's start things off with what could have been the play of the night. Josh Tabb driving hard to the hoop with the flush. But wait, offensive foul, no basket. Fans didn't like that. But in the first half, every time USI would start to pull away, NKU would find a way to bring it back. Here is Malcolm Elby getting the outlet pass, charging down the floor, and getting the layup. He led the Norse with 24 points and 5 assists. But NKU was left pounding their heads, trying to find a way to stop the game's leading scorer, C.J. Trotter. He would have 26 on the night. And the Norse would fall for the first time this season. 76-63 is the final. NKU shot just 2 of 22 from behind the arc.
Next up for the Norse is another doubleheader of GLVC play against the University of Indianapolis, which is Break the Bank night here at the Bank of Kentucky Center, where tickets are just $1 and students, of course, get in for free. For the NKU Sports Show, I'm Ray Kallmeyer.
Thanks, Ray. Both teams were back in action on Saturday, and our Ben Smith was right in the middle of it.
I'm here at the Bank of Kentucky Center for Break the Bank Night